very good evening and warm welcome to the respected dignitaries, our chief guests, guests of honors, students from various institutions, and one and all present here to the last day of 7-day Nata Awareness and Booster session conducted by Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design. I'm Architect Subhashri, Assistant Professor
I'm
at
architect
AAD.
Nandini Hedgen, associate professor at AAA. Will be your moderators for the day.
Before we begin with the session, I would like to make a couple of announcements to the participants to ensure an uninterrupted session. All the participants are requested to mute their audio and switch off their videos. If any questions are there during the session, you can drop in your questions in the chat box and it will be answered at the end of the session. Thank you for your cooperation and kind attention. Now I request Architect Siddharth to play the video.
I'm a student of Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design. The facilities provided here is awesome.
My name's Sharon and I always wanted to do architecture. The kind of exposure we've got here is really something out of the box.
Hi, this is Ashish. I'm a first year BAC student. I came to know that Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design is a really nice college here in Yelahanka.
Hello, my name is Magezi. I'm from Africa, Uganda.
My name is Kel Trongpui. I'm coming from Mizoram, that is northeast part of India. I've been searching for architecture college in several places. I don't have to search any other college. It provides us a good education, a great faculty, and everything here around is great.
The teachers are very good.
We've been on many site visits and our faculty is really nice.
Faculty, they approach us really well.
The experience I've had in Aditya, actually in the first place I was so scared. I thought things would be hard the way Indians speak and all that. But at the end of the day I realized my teachers are paying a lot of attention to me. They repeat themselves even at the time I don't need them to repeat themselves. They attend to me generally. They pay a lot of attention. So I think I'm prospering and growing in architecture. And by the time I leave this place, I think I would have gotten as much as I expected and more.
A very nice faculty.
You have a great library.
We have a very nice campus, nice library.
It was a whole new experience.
I choose the best one, that is Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design.
As I would tell it's the best college.
That's the best college. If you want to go for architecture course, please choose Aditya.
A really nice experience being here. Go Aditya.
Thank you, Siddharth, for playing the video. And now I would like to invite Mr. Jagadish, who is currently associated with Applied Arts in Chitrakala Parishath and has been with them for more than 3 decades. I welcome you to the session, sir. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. I can start now.
Yeah, sir, you can.
Thank you for inviting me, sir, director and section of team from Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design. Like a couple of days ago, it has been wonderful with Mr. Arunachal and the community of the students who are preparing for Nata. Once again, thank you, sir. Okay, how many students right now this session?
There are actually 39 students, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, my dear students, you are all able to audible my voice, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good. So, from the point of your career direction, what is the reason you are chosen as an architect as a specialization? My simple question: architecture. What made you to take as a professional career? Or there are a lot of choices available. I think some of you are definitely going to join architecture because they might be having a strong influence, inspiration related to the perception, what you analyze it, right? The kind of direction where it can lead in an age of electronic age. Okay. Before I start my friend Siddharth, who seems to take operation of the slide and the videos, the whole session is going to be like very simple. I'll have a more of a pictorial and a visual approach rather than more of a text based. My strength is more towards this analyzing and observation skill, and analytical, then the layout. These are the important factor. Even you should experience and practice in your foundation level. Okay. First question is, can anyone answer me what is architect and what is architecture? The word, the term architect and architecture. Still, you able to see there is a difference. What is that difference? Doesn't matter even if you have a very wrong answer or average answer, not an issue. Another thing is, see, during my session, whenever I ask you, like, you need to be more interactive rather than one-sided. It makes me more positive also, like during the session. Okay, please, anyone give me an answer.
Guys, you can unmute and answer.
Who?
No, just telling students to unmute and answer. Whatever you feel like, it's okay. I mean, it will not be very specific, but whatever just you think is it has to be, you can answer those.
Okay, Chetana. She left. If you're not you able to answer, I'll give architect one simple line. A thorough knowledge in design and planning. Then what is architecture? Hey guys, there are 3940 students. You're not able to answer this simple question. Hmm? The whole 7 days you have gone through, and you are very fresh. In fact, I wanted to share is that I've been teaching the final year students, Department of Applied Art. I would always interested in the freshers. I think this is the right time for me to explore where I can learn certain things. Hmm? Who is Jaisim?
Jagadish, after 65 years of architecture, I still don't know what is architecture. Having won every award in the world, I still don't know what architecture is.
Okay. I think students also like thinking, okay, what sort of questions my teacher, the session teacher is asking. See, for me, it's ideas. The emotions are aligned and merged. In fact, the manifestation of a contour, form, are aesthetically designed and executed to human mankind. That means more of a functional direction. Please listen, my dear students. It is associated with the nature, society, a community experience. That means the architect designed the expression to give a experiencing on the end user. That's a very simple definition. That is what I understood, and it has been taken into consideration today in the morning rather than going to the stocks of Google or something. Okay, sir. Then Siddharth, kindly come to the video, this one. Yeah, first slide. You all are familiar with this quote, right? Say yes or no. The nature doesn't need people, but people need nature. Is it true or false?
True, sir.
True, sir.
Okay. Can you define this? What you understood from this quote, the statement? Because that's the picture. What I shown here is Himalaya.
So without nature, people can't survive. But without people, nature can exist, sir.
Exactly. And what about the second answer?
Nature helps in various kinds of to us, but we cannot help nature for anything.
Okay. See, one beautiful example I'll give you the current issues of pandemic. Everyone knows that. Everyone stuck at the four corners. So the family, to bring a change, definitely you need to have a kind of nature, right? So you are all eager and waiting for outing, including me, right? So okay. The next slide, sir. See, again, it is associated with Himalaya. It's a beautiful painting from Nicholas Roerich, a Russian-based Indian artist who belongs to our Chitrakala Parishath. A simple story I tell you. His son Svetoslav Roerich. Both are involved in drawing skill and influence of nature. Okay, the reason I'm showing you the picture is more of observational values. Please, sir. Go to the next slide, sir. Here it's a very tricky two line. From your observation, what you have noticed? Someone from the audience? Both are same, right? The statement.
Both are same, sir.
But what difference you can able to see?
Fonts.
Font.
Fonts also same.
Size.
Font style. Caps.
Okay. Yes. Who is that? Said caps.
Aditya.
Good. See, here once again I'll elaborate here. See, sometimes no a paragraph, a statement which looks best and connecting in the presence of user experience legibly and clarity with upper and lower, the second option, the below. The first one, if it is one word, it would be a fantastic. See, this is how the fresh students should think and adapt. Okay, next, sir. Okay, then you come to the presentation file one, slide one. Siddharth, sir. Okay, I think all of you know this from the section of the students. What is the first visual picture?
Joke false, sir.
Okay. Go to the next, sir. Second slide. This one, second one.
Same, sir.
Okay. Go to the third, sir. Come to the fourth, sir. Okay. The next slide. So the combined with all four photos. The next page. Okay. What is the difference you able to capture here?
Water.
Amount of water.
Okay. Then
Various seasons. Seasons.
who said that season? The word. Okay. Good. Is there a unique feature in this four? What is that? I'm expecting that answer.
Greenery.
No.
Rainbow.
No.
Waterfall.
Already is there.
Force of the water.
That is also there.
The above nature. Changes. Weather.
Above
Weather.
weather. Okay. I think you are very close to it. I think.
Color combination.
No, that's okay. I'm expecting something unique answer. I'll only tell you. It's all about the elements of Earth, right? You can see the air, water, earth, and a space. In fact, fire is not there. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
You guys should think in the angle of what I call interesting and, aspects and design perspective. Okay, sir. Siddharth, can you play one video? Now that is 1 minute. The world is poorly designed.
In 1989, Japan's Shinkansen bullet train had a problem. It was fast, really fast, like pushing 170 miles per hour fast. But every time it exited a tunnel, it was loud. The noise was coming from a variety of sources, but whenever a train sped into a tunnel, it pushed waves of atmospheric pressure through the other end. The air exited tunnels with a sonic boom that could be heard 400 meters away. In dense residential areas, that was a huge problem. So an engineering team was brought in to design a quieter, faster, and more efficient train. And they had one secret weapon. Eiji Nakatsu, the general manager of the technical development department, was a bird watcher.
Different components of the redesigned bullet train were based on different birds. Owls inspired the pantograph. That's the rig that connects the train to the electric wires above. Nakatsu modeled the redesign after their feathers, reducing noise by using the same serrations and curvature that allow them to silently swoop down to catch prey. The Adelie penguin, whose smooth body allows it to swim and slide effortlessly, inspired the pantograph's supporting shaft, redesigned for lower wind resistance. And perhaps most notable of all was the kingfisher.
The kingfisher is a bird that dives into water to catch its prey. The unique shape of its beak allows it to do that while barely making a splash. Nakatsu took that shape to the design table. The team shot bullets shaped like different train nose models down a pipe to measure pressure waves and dropped them into water to measure the splash size. The quietest nose design was the one modeled most closely after the kingfisher's beak. When the redesign debuted in 1997, it was 10% faster, used 15% less electricity, and stayed under the 70 decibel noise limit in residential areas. And it did all that with the wings of an owl, the belly of a penguin, and the nose of a kingfisher. There's a name for design like this. It's called biomimicry.
The people who design our world usually never take a biology class, believe it or not. So they're novices in how the world works.
That's Janine Benyus. Back in 1997, she wrote the book that coined the term biomimicry. It told the story of the innovations in computing, energy, and health that were inspired by structures in the natural world.
Stick like a gecko, compute like a cell, even run a business like a redwood forest.
Benyus has since worked as a consultant for various companies, trying to get them to understand how to take design ideas from nature. That might mean studying prairie dog burrows to build better air ventilation systems, mimicking shark skin to create bacteria-resistant plastic surfaces for hospitals, or arranging wind turbines in the same drag-reducing pattern that schools of fish swim in. Designers get inspiration from a lot of different places, but Benyus thinks many of them could benefit from looking more at the natural world.
So there's a lot of sort of looking at what other people have done, and what they do is they look at all the others and they get ideas. They literally do, a lot of designers have lots of magazines that they look through. They tear those out and they put them on inspiration boards. But they're looking at other human technologies.
Her idea was simple. Designers should get in the habit of bringing a biologist to the table and let them help solve problems by mimicking nature. And there are three main ways they can do that.
You can mimic its form or its shape. You might create a paint for a building that when it dries, it's got the same structure as self-cleaning leaves. Lotus leaves are notoriously great. They let rainwater clean the leaf because they have these bumps, and the rainwater balls up on the bumps and then it pearls away the dirt. So that lotus effect is physical, and you can create a physical structure on the outside of any product. Imagine that on the outside of your car. Rainwater would clean your car. So that's mimicking form. But there's also mimicking process, the processes in the natural world. It might even be, how you mimic how ants communicate in order to efficiently find sources of food or new places to live. And those processes, that self-organization, has been mimicked in software. In things like autonomous cars and how they're going to move in flocks through the city by talking to one another. That's mimicking nature's process. And then you jump up to the level of mimicking whole ecosystems, right? There's a thing called, that's a buzzword right now that's really hot, called the circular economy, which is essentially, you know, industry saying, you know, there should be no such thing as a byproduct in our manufacturing facility that goes to landfill. It should be used by something else, right? And at the end of a product's life, that product should be upcycled into something else. It's being called the circular economy. Ecosystems do that really, really, really well. You've got a log on the forest floor, and those materials move up into the body of the fungus that eats it. Those materials move up into a mouse, and that mouse material moves up into a hawk, right? And if you think about that as what we'd like to do with local materials being upcycled constantly in our cities, for instance, those ecosystem lessons are really big for us.
And that's the end goal for biomimetic design, making products, systems, and cities functionally indistinguishable from the natural world. Life has been around on Earth for 3.8 billion years, and what designers are starting to realize is that that is a lot of research and development time.
The people who design our world have a lot to learn from the natural world. All they have to do is take a look.
Thank you so much for watching. This is one of a series of videos that we're doing in collaboration with 99% Invisible. They are a podcast that does stories all about design. We loved working with them. You should definitely check them out at 99pi.org or on any podcast app.
Okay. Oh, okay. My dear students, what is the summary of this video? Someone can answer now. Is there a connection to your fundamentals, the process?
The nature has solution for all problems.
Exactly. That means the power of nature, the magic of nature, the inclination in a visual art, right? Where you can solve many issues. Thank you for that. Okay. Kindly go to the slides, presentation. Again, the observational, which is connecting to your basic fundamentals of the entry level of this your architecture course. From this picture, some of you be able to analyze what exactly it is, right? Again, I need a unique answer. Please, someone, can you answer the depiction of this visual, the photo? Can you analyze this? One of you? No?
One focal point.
Okay. Can you elaborate? Then?
An
That's all.
unending road.
In simple technical word, I want. It's a vanishing point. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
All will experience this. That's the power of our vision. The human eye has got that, right? If you are standing like seashore, where you are experiencing something, sunrise or sunset, it looks like some distance it is there, but actually fact is different, right? Where parallel lines, the principle of this one architecture, the design involved there, right? The human centric create an illusion to us. Please, sir. Next. Where parallel lines are aligned. Please, sir, go ahead. Next. you experience in nature this, right? When you are in a park, example, when you are walking with your friend, even the trees. If you are traveling in a bus and as well as in a train, when the curve starts, you will see a better vision there. Please, sir, go to the next. That's all. Okay, from the side angle. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And can you go to the video once again, sir, please? The Grange or art education conference. You can go to the art education conference. Can you stop here, sir? Can you stop? Okay, my dear students, now here the role of the art, the visual, like the skill, where art, skill, and craft are merged. Please, sir, go ahead, sir. Okay, is it interesting? The second presentation, my dear student.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes, sir.
you tell me the conclusion of this video. How? In fact, it is a story telling where the humor and the emotions are involved here. More of a philosophical thought. One can adapt in your learning practice. if you really wants to do something where the art can be merged, the drawing skill can be merged. And also, my dear students, the drawing and the visual art is most important in architecture. Not only the shapes, geometry, the structure, the media. Okay, thank you. Go to the next slide. This one slide, sir, please. The presentation. Hello. I think presentation 4 is there. The first page, first page. So, this is one of the famous artist. In fact, you will be having questions, some questions definitely with art related, the visual art. So it's a Van Gogh, a Dutch artist. In fact, how do you recognize what is the uniqueness here? Like, see, he explores more of bold strokes and a form. In fact, go to the next, sir. That is the identity, a common thread, right? This is a starry night. This is Auguste Rodin, the French artist who uses more of a sculpture form, the human figurative with a nude. In fact, the famous sculpture, the thinker, is there. Please, sir, go next, sir. You need to browse certain world masters, great artists, then Indian born progressive art group. Can you recognize who is this? I think he has a massive mammoth sculpture. In fact, Statue of Unity, which is in Narmada River beside, right? See, I was telling in the beginning, the architecture, one of the best example, the association of art and you can see experience something amazing when you get entered there with museum. Lot of elements are involved there. Okay, please, sir. His name is Ram Sutta. Mostly he does a massive sculpture and best known for composition. Please, sir, next, sir. That's all. This is when you see this painting, it's more of a realistic. How do you see the realistic? This is the style of painting. This is one of the recent Pandit from Gulbarga. He is no more, but that's the amazing approach in art. He has a series of Shakuntala, Menaka, Vishwamitra. Please, sir, go to the next. Reason I'm giving this impression for your purpose is to know a kind of awareness. Please, sir. Next, sir. Go to the next, sir. And okay, sir, I think you have missed one file, I think. Can you check, sir? That is presentation 4. This is the presentation 3. Something you missed out there, which has the geometrical shape. This one, presentation 3. Siddharth, can you hear me? Again, what this represent? The visual? Is it a straight away answer? Can anyone tell me?
Potato.
Okay. Is it related with the shape?
Yes. Oval shape.
Go to the next. Go to the next, sir. Next page. See, one can experience how organic shapes. No, second one. Go to the again the 4. Yeah. Stop there, sir. See, sometimes natural when it is been cut. When you extract the stone, these are the general materials you will be exploring in a building construction, right? Those 3, the second, third, and the 4th. Come to the next slide, sir. See, what is this 4 figure signifies? What are the importance? And one shape I left it. What is that shape? Again, observation. First one.
Hexagon.
Okay. Second. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You know the round can be considered as well as ellipse, right? Technically.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The triangle. Then one more is missing. I asked you this question.
Rectangle.
Yes. Wonderful.
Pentagon.
Okay. 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 Come to the next slide, sir. Now. Can you see, make out some differences there? Like rather than a rows, I'm talking about the rows, not a complete picture. The first row, second row, third row. Which is correct according to your perception? And why? Define this.
Third one, sir.
Okay, one is third. Okay. So there are many students. I think I hardly able to see 2 or 3 students able to answer. Which one?
Second one.
Second one. Okay.
First one, sir.
Why first one? Tell me. See, look here. The human eye senses the object, geometric shape. You can see that the third one, even though it is aligned at the top and the bottom, still because of the negative space in the white, it shows that it's above the height, right? Slightly height, the top one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, it's not about the only the which is correct, which is not correct, but ergonomically, aesthetically, and you need to sense and make use of it for the purpose. That is the reason. Okay. Okay. I think the next slide, sir, please. You learn all this in your geometry class. In fact, the fundamentals, the foundation, where is taking in a respective institute. Please raise these kind of questions. You know symmetry, no, which are aligned. I used only a round shape, the circle, but in various sizes. It creates an illusion, right? One beautiful example I can give you is the bubble, no? When you blow a soap water, usually we experience in our childhood, right? But it gives a different directions. But for your reference, I'm telling you the asymmetry. Here, the role of balance. Go to the next slide, sir, please. Okay. Definitely, there will be a questions like this, right? How many minimum lines are required to make a geometry shapes? The first one, the arrow. Can anyone tell me how many lines?
Seven.
Huh?
Seven.
Okay, what about the second?
12.
How many number?
5.
Who said 5?
12, sir.
No, the 5 someone said, right? That's absolutely correct.
Yes.
Go to the next slide, please. The first answer you will see here. Go to the next slide, sir, please. See how you can, the components, the lines can be divided, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? I zoom this. See, you should not count the negative space. One student said about 9 or something, right? That's wrong. Okay. Go to the next slide, sir, please. That's all. Okay. Identify how many triangles are required to make an hexagonal shapes.
5. 6.
6.
Answer is next to that, even though purposely I made that, let it be in a color. Huh? Please crack all these kind of questions. There is a way of doing things. Okay, sir. Please, sir. Next, sir. I think we completed the four parts. Just a minute. Okay. Now, what I feel is that Siddharth. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Can you share that the MCQ Google form? I think all of you are having the electronic gadget, and it will be very flexible for you to answer, right?
Sure.
Even yeah, even you will be having a paper and a pen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please share it to all the email community of the session, and also put it in our share it here, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Just a minute.
Thank you, sir. Do you like the videos and the kind of the presentation, my dear students? Is it related to your specialization or not? Hello, Rahul. Is it relevant to your specialization? My question.
Yes, sir. It's really
Okay. 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 And kindly put your all MCQ answers. Let it reach. Hope you got your Google form.
No, sir.
no, sir.
Not
Okay.
We
Okay.
didn't get,
sir.
Okay. Okay.
we didn't get, sir.
Please let me know any questions, any doubt if you have.
We got it, sir.
Okay. Okay. Please answer.
It's being sent on the chat box. Please, you can open the file.
Are you sharing it here, Siddharth?
Siddharth, can you open the
Chat
file,
box.
just run through for
I think let's run through it once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Because
then I think it will be better. It will be clear for students.
in between I'll interact.
At least let's have a look
Yeah.
at the
Sir, I
total.
think you can explain that MCQ, whatever you prepared, the gist of it. Then students can answer. We can give them time later.
No, sir, because I think time is running out. That is one thing.
No, I
In
think let them submit the Google form. We will continue. We are running short of time.
Oh, okay, okay.
Let's proceed.
Put it on screen, sir.
You can just scroll down, Siddharth.
Yes. See, one first question is okay. 1 minute. 1 minute. Name a graphic image editing program introduced by Aaad. All of you know like what Aaad stands for, right? It's application. In fact, in application, there are Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe After Effects. Like these are the 4 options. Some are video editing, some are vector based. I'm just giving you a hint. Look carefully. What is the isometric angle? Can you justify it? Out of 360 each angle has got so much meaning. 15 degree, 20 degree, 30, 50, right? Hope you able to answer, right? Please go to the next slide, sir. The hello.
Sir, anyways, I think they will see the questions, they'll answer and mail it back to us. So we can have a look at all their replies and assess them. I think the questions are quite interesting and direct to the students. I'm sure all of you will be able to answer it.
Excuse me, ma'am, we have to start it.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay.
You can take your time, not a problem. And as you had mailed to us in the previous session, you can mail us the MCQs back to us. So we'll be assessing them.
Thank you, sir, for once again making me to that's amazing and interesting. Let's see the answer, how it will come. It's a concluding day where I able to meet the total team of your architecture. It's really fantastic for me in a lockdown time. In fact, but in the morning, generally I have a class for my students. Somewhere I feel that the art design architecture, it's like a triangular points, in fact, for me. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Informative session for the students for the concluding day. Thanks a lot. Well, like all good things have to come to an end. We are today concluding the 7-day Nata awareness and booster session organized at AAAD. I hope this series has given your young mind the confidence to tackle the forthcoming Nata aptitude test. My dear participant, as architect myself, I must tell you all that this course offers the utmost fun experience while learning when compared to any other courses you can find outside. Just not that, it builds in esteemed confidence in yourself, which is very much required in your future. It has a sense of a passive learning that has been inbuilt in the curriculum, which generally the other courses don't offer to you. Now that all of you have got a small glimpse of our course, I would now like to call upon our mentor, architect Krishna Jaisim, who has soaked himself in this profession and has been along with us throughout the series. Sir has completed his professional education in architecture in 1966 from Madras University. From 1966 to 70, he worked with the architectural firm of L.M. Chitale and Sons, Madras. In 1970, inspired by Ayn Rand's novel The Fountainhead, he started an architectural practice under the name Jasim Fountainhead. Jasim Fountainhead is a Bangalore-based firm comprising of architects, engineers, ecologists, and planners that deal with residents, institutions, leisure, corporate office, landscape, and urban planning. The practice grew from 1970 to 75, winning a national competition for the Kochi President's nomination for the Small Industries Pavilion and the Taj Fisherman's Cove. From 1975 to 80, the firm began working overseas and ventured into other areas of buildings, such as import and distribution of building materials, running scheduled contracts, and running a stone crusher and fabrication unit. In 1980, Sir decided to return to India and settle in Bangalore. His philosophies include architecture is an adventure. Principles of grammar never change, but expressions do. Architecture is all about space. He has published over 150 papers and articles in journals like Architecture, Habitat, and Design Critic Review. Thank you, sir. I would request you to please take over and address to our students. Sir, you're on mute. Sir, you're on mute.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Completely.
Thank you, Nandini, for that introduction, and thank you, Jagadish, for solving a lot of problems which I want to take up as an art and architecture. My entire enterprise started with the School of Art in Madras, with all some of the artists you showed were great friends of mine for a long, long time. And then Chitrakala, Parishath was another place where I spent years and years. The main journey which I liked when Ganesh and Siddharth called me and said, these wonderful people called me and said, can you address students who are doing this Nata exam? I initially said, I may have made more than 2,000 presentations all over the world, or written hundreds of papers all over things, but every time you face a young lot, you don't know what to talk about. So whatever I wrote, I've just closed it off. I'm only going to address these young spirited ones which think of architecture, which what is. One of the people who told me when a big question that when you asked what is architecture was not my answer, what is architecture? Architecture is da 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 da. That was Louis Kahn who told me when I was a very young kid. He said, young architect, architecture is nothing more. Same thing was then told me by Mies van Roo, with whom I had tremendous conversation, talks, as a very young architect. What I want these young ones to understand is, those of you who want to join architecture, you don't have to answer why you joined. I joined for various different reasons. I will not come to that. The main thing that happened, you'll see all those things behind me, art and architecture, the grandest things. In my little cottage, still raining, it's beautiful, nature is around me. I live in a beautiful quiet green space. Very few people can. But the point is, when you join architecture, the first 3 years is your basic education, out of which the first year, you must learn to unlearn, totally unlearn, like J. Krishnamurti would tell me when I was doing his school. You're the young architect, now come and sit down now and go away. He said, what do you mean, sir? You called me and you're saying go away. That is architecture, he said. And then he made me do the Valley School and the Rishi Valley School, many things. What I'm saying is things will happen. Don't become very big. Architecture is not like medicine, although I live amongst many doctors here. It is not engineering. It is not art. It is something which nobody understands, but everybody knows. Don't ask me why. Anybody will design a home. Anybody will design a house. But can they design space? Can they design something? This is what when I mean unlearning. You must go to kindergarten. When you go to first semester in architecture, go to kindergarten. Go and play. I agree with Jagadish, they go and play. Just play. Forget everything. Just play. Don't worry about what anybody told you or taught you or anything. Just play. What is play to a child? Imagine like a kindergarten child being asked to play. What you appear as a pyramid, not a pyramid to you. Nobody told you anything. What somebody else told you, but something, it's not something to you. The learning happens. And that when the learning happens, one of the greatest things I've learned doing my creative work is to unlearn everything you learn. That's the most difficult thing, is to unlearn the learning. Because engineering is learning, learning, learning. Medicine is learning, learning, learning. Physics, chemistry, lawyer, auditing, all learning, learning, learning. And art is another disciplined area where without the tools, the artist can do anything. Nothing, he can't do anything. And the tools are made by engineers and other people. Without that, you can't do anything. Whereas the architect has nothing. He has no tools. He has only a mind. I'm not the one who goes to the site and works. I'm not the one who drafts. I'm not the one who sketches. I don't do anything nowadays. I just smile at my young architects and my contractor and my Maestri who comes here and say, he looks at me, sir, without even saying me a second thing, sir, I know what you're thinking. I'll build the wall this way. I said, that is architecture. It is a connection that happens from the mind to that space. What happens is you have to create something and make it happen without you doing anything. That is where I like the children's play. They play, they shouldn't be told. In fact, one of the biggest things I learned recently again is do not let children play with games which they can identify. Play with games you can't identify. This is like we're playing marbles in the road with stones, tops and something. Those games are far better than anything you can buy in a shop and play. Don't. Learn to play with nature. He said that, and I'm saying, what is nature? Try and understand. Man is the highest being of nature. Without man, there is no nature, there is nothing. It doesn't matter if it exists if you are not there. We are the only beings who can think beyond anything. We can make, we can create, we can destroy. Nothing else can. Even as I was talking when ant came, I was looking at it, should I hit it or not? I just pushed it off. But Buffalo doesn't know much. It's somewhere else. Same thing when I go to the engineering place and talk to them. They will do what they know. They will know what is the conclusions. But an architect doesn't. An architect has to absorb a lot of things, and then finally he doesn't know who is the architect. We have created spaces all over the country and all over east and west of the world. We just in sketches and get it happen, and it happens very often. But I want you to do something. I want you to learn. Architecture is a 24/7 profession. How many of you are willing to take it 24/7? It is not just a pad, an iPad, nothing. I turn around, I see a light there, I see a light there, it is architecture. I see the picture, there's architecture. When he showed me that Sardar Patel's statue, which I showed you, which he showed there, they presented it to me because I had to visit the site and said, how will it stand? I don't know, it's one of the tallest statues ever made in the world. Sir, when you made it, I was suddenly remembered it, and it was sitting right in front of me when they gave to me. It is Holloway's tallest statue ever made. These are creative aspects, and made on the river of Narmada in a beautiful fashion. They said, as an architect, what do you think? I met the great artist also. I don't know whether he's still alive or something. But to create, yes, it is fascinating. Another part that is, whenever you go on a holiday, whatever you call a holiday, wherever you go on a tour, 24/7, try to learn and unlearn. Try to learn and unlearn. And India is one of the greatest, I won't use the word India, the subcontinent is the greatest field of architecture. You don't have to go abroad at all. You don't have to see the rest. Go there for the fun of it. I have been to all over the world, from Antarctica to Arctic to Circle to Japan to something. Everywhere I've been. But the moment I land, I see a crowd and walk to Mahabalipuram or to some Tanjore temple or Madurai temple or one. Wow, we are living in architecture. So much of architecture that we don't care about it. We destroy it. Went to Belur Halabed one day. The main artist there or the main person there said, we know you well. This is not the temples to see. We will take you. They took me to a haystack. Under the haystack was a beautiful building. Why was it not in tourism department? Sir, it cracked a bit. We didn't bother. We liked it as haystack. Unbelievable stuff. Everywhere you go, you can find. History of the subcontinent is 5,000, 7,000 years old. We could design cities 7,000 years ago, which even the West cannot do today. They made a mess in Chandigarh. Go to Chandigarh. It's the most destructive city I've ever seen. And they'll call me every year to come and visit it. That is different. They are in a parallel lines of thinking. We are a very natural lot of people. We in the subcontinent must learn to learn. Which is why I ask you youngsters very boldly, to go explore every bit that you can explore. What you should explore, even when you're eating at a table. One of the first times when I went, they were saying, do you want a spoon and a fork? How do you eat? I said, nature has given me hands to eat. The hands can taste and feel better than any fork and spoon. That's the way you start looking at it. Then how do you create from that? When you eat a fruit, how do you take the fruit? Do you bite it? Do you take it? All that is architecture again. Even as you eat the apple, you watch the apple, it becomes a structure. I met some great architects, not just here, all over. When they look at you and then look at me on the dining table, oh, you're an young architect from India, you're saying, sir, my design for the airport is over. He said, what do you mean? I won't tell you the name. I want you to find out with the architect. He was just looking at the dining table and said, the architecture of the airport is over. And very next day, they had it sketched and put. It's one of the greatest airports in the world today. Anywhere you can get an idea. Everywhere. As you see and walk around, move around, you can get the idea. The idea of one more thing I want you to understand. Architecture has design, but is not design. Remember that. It is the most disciplined profession in the most undisciplined manner. The moment you have an idea and format, you must destroy the idea and create an idea. How do you do it? This is the great thing about architecture. Look, I'm sitting in a roof which people said cannot stand. I said, the roof did not tell me that it cannot stand. Let me explore it. The material taught me. This is why when she said this, every time I had a holiday, I don't know, it was by accident, I would drive a bus, buttering up the bus conductor, then go to a crusher and work in a crusher factory. Go to a soda factory and learn to make sodas. Go to anywhere, newspaper factory and learn how to combine, put the things together. Every time we did something, something happened. Every weekend taught me something or something or something. Architecture can be learned from everywhere and anywhere. Movement of space. The only thing that contents you and holds you tight is the time in which you do that project. What do you do at that time? Because that depends on technology and how art interprets the technology at that time. Art is an abstraction coming from high level over all time, whereas technology is time-bound. It shifts, shifting. Art plays with it. And when art plays with that technology in time, architecture suddenly is born. The environment and ecology holds you and says, wow, what are you up to? It speaks to both sides. Then between the both sides, architecture arises like a steeple undertaking. In fact, we were looking at some mountains recently. Why are we destroying nature at all? Why don't we build cities underground? That's a whole theory of mine which I've been working for the last 20 years. We built some buildings underground. One thing many people, modern people, want their buildings to be seen, projects to be seen. I said, why? Nature is so beautiful. Build under the mountains and build under the sea, build in the moon. I'm saying you this for a simple reason. I've been saying this to many young students recently also everywhere. Don't do what I did. Do beyond money. Do much, much more beyond. Things which I can't imagine, you must do. That is why you join architecture. Otherwise, you can join a drafting course or some business course or engineering course and keep doing it. Architecture leads you beyond imagination. That is where the whole thing is. Even when somebody gives me 4 pieces of rice on your hand, like you put a lot of magic and think, what does the rice talk to each other? What does the 3 potatoes talk to each other? The 3 potatoes are conversing with each other and having a dialogue as to what is to happen. Now imagine the 3 potatoes, huge spaces, not just potatoes. Architecture is born from the idea. You find an ant walking on the potato. Now take the ant and imagine that you are the one who's walking on the shelf. What happened? This was talked about by Candela once, then by the great the architect in Spain. Antoni Gaudi was one of my favorites because nobody understood his architecture. But when I went and saw the buildings, which he did 200 years, 150 years back, I said, what an imagination. You can't even correct those buildings. You can't repair those buildings. Like we can't repair our temples and things. They are the architecture of that time. If I touch and try to repair, I make a mess of it. I have this war with people who try to conserve old buildings. You can't conserve. Whereas, now look at the next point. We have one great artist here. Whereas if somebody presented me a painting and a sculpture, which I have, and nobody will touch the painting. Nobody will touch the piece of art because its piece of art belongs to the person and the time. Whereas my architecture and your architecture will be touched by everybody, anybody on the road, anybody on the thing. That is architecture. That is a piece. I'm very careful on the thing. I will not say you examples. One day I'll talk to you about those examples. What I wanted to learn is the first semesters, try to unlearn and play like a kid and play like a child of total imagination. Slowly the discipline will form. It's an undisciplined manner. Do not worry about anybody copying or drawing. Nobody can copy architecture. It is impossible. Nobody can imitate your architecture. It's impossible. I was the only examiner once an exam was happening in design class. Somebody said, sir, they're talking with you. I said, let them talk. What does it matter? Because you're the only profession where every answer is different from the next person. Very strange, but that's what it is. And remember one more thing. Of all the professions, yours finally has to be the most disciplined profession because through the other agencies, you have to deliver the project, its cost, its time, its things. Very difficult. But that will come as you grow finally or beyond those times of 2 years, 3 years. It is a long, long walk. It is not 5-year course or 7-year course. It is more than decades and decades. That's why when you ask the question, who is an architect? I said, even after 5, 6 decades, I'm not an architect. I'm still, if one of the languages in every architecture is a language. Remember that. You have to have the discipline of language. There are so many languages. And out of that, I have learned, attempted to learn one language. Let us say the language is English. If there are 26 alphabets there, I may with great courtesy say, manage to come from A to B. They're a long journey to form. Don't think just because you can sketch in your first semester, third semester, you're an architect. I see a lot of youngsters think they can design a home. No way. Imagining you have to discuss with people. Now, when your professors, your teachers might get a little upset with you, little talk to you, but imagine them as your future clients. Imagine them as your future people, contractor and thing. Then your attitude to them will change and say, here is the way they want it. How do you then transform them into thinking your way? It is difficult, but you have to go through that process because that process is very, very important. It's one of the most difficult professions to understand. Degree and all, and council will give you a registration, the college will give you a degree, but that's a journey of showing that you're doing something. If you have entered architecture with a conscious understanding, then remember it's one of the toughest, hardest, but the most beautiful. Like somebody asked me, so would you exchange it for anything? And I said, never. I'm 24/7 in architecture. Even now I start looking at it, the rain is dropping here, the fan is blowing air on me, and I see all your faces out here. It is a journey I can never forget, never understand, but that is the journey. Last, before I close down, because I told them I will not take too much time. When you start this journey, imagine somehow somebody dropped you somewhere in the middle of the forest or the middle of the ocean or middle of the sea or the sky. And then which direction do you go? What happens then is which direction? You look north, south, east, below, up, where? You have all the dimensions around you. The first step you take from that point is your journey of architecture. Then something happens. Because when you turn around, you go back, that gap is gone. Where did you come from? Where are you going? That is architecture. If you've got something out of my abstraction to this, I thought initially I'll show you some pictures of fields of my architecture, but I said, no, then you will get influenced by that. I don't want you to be influenced by that thought process. After you passed your first or third semester or something later on, I will come and have a dialogue with you. If unfortunately COVID prevents me, but your college has my dialogues with you that you can create. You have a space in Aaad which offers you the challenge to be taken. They are open to you. You're open to you. And we take this great journey forward. I've had the pleasure of going through it. It may look painful in the beginning because pain gives you pleasure. And then you get your pleasure. It's an unbelievable source of pleasure. You just look at it in small. You just look at it and thank whom? Even God is created by you. That's the pleasure you get. When you design a temple, when you design a place of worship, or when you design a hospital, now we have designed COVID spaces. You watch the spaces. You watch the little stones. You watch the little air. The green tree teaches you. Last line, watch the trees of one specimen. Can you show me two trees that are identical? They're the specimen, maybe the mango tree or the berry tree or what. Can you show me two trees that are identical? Why are our buildings identical? That is not architecture, that is engineering. Get out of engineering, get out of the builder's manual. Get to an architecture that expresses your beautiful brain, your beautiful thoughts, and the greatness. It could be sad, it could be bright, but it's created. And remember, you're the most disciplined profession in the most undisciplined space. It's very fascinating to learn texture, to learn. Initially, I was thinking form, function, things, perspectives were there. Minimum, there are 19 disciplines. The other day, I was writing those 19 disciplines. Then I found it went on to 20, 21, 22. Infinite disciplines is architecture. It is not just 3 drawing sections or something. You can always get into that. The moment you get into time and space, and then express time and space in the context of that place, of that people, of that culture, of that history, and for that, whatever is the ecosystem that's happening, the acoustic system that's happening, architecture is created. You have entered into a new fascinating world. Boldly move from stage to stage to stage. Don't worry. Nobody fails in architecture. You learn and learn and learn. If you ever somebody, I don't think I never passed an exam. The exams passed me. I will just go and do it, let exams. It just passed me one by one. Why are we treated? Because an architecture is an extremely original thinker and with all the disciplines on his head or her head. And now I'm very happy lots of women have taken on to architecture because that's a new world of exploration which they sitting at home were thinking. And nowadays there are hardly any. Now there are many. I really find the journey fascinating to run. I hope I've not taken too much of all your times. I only wish all your youngsters a phenomenal journey, and meeting all these great people around here has been an absolute thriller for me to sit. I hope you've all heard. Nandini, thank you very much. Ganesh, thank you very much. Where is my Siddharth? Thank you. And Jagadish, sir, thanks a lot for the patient handling. Anybody I missed, please convey. Oh, she keeps on changing her name this year, that way it kicks me. I thought you were not well. Sarojini, I'm glad you're there.
Fine. Yeah.
Sorry, see, again I met her. She's on again. But it's really fascinating. Jairam, thanks a lot. Thank you all you youngsters, if you're there. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Be bold and take the journey. Don't worry about anything. Every step you take is a future step. Quiet. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Jaisim, sir. It was very inspiring for the youngsters, I'm sure. And in his usual spirit, highly spirited, he shares some of his high spirits with us also, as well as with the new would-be architects. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jasim sir. It's always been very mesmerizing to talk to you, to listen to you, and I hope all the students here have been able to gauge that in your speech today. As you rightly tried to put across to them, architecture is not so much technical. It gives you a break to think creatively. It gives you also an edge to do beyond than what has been already been prescribed. So thank you, sir, for focusing on that and giving a light to our students. Thank you, sir. Well, now comes the stage where everybody have been eagerly waiting for. I think for all the events that we have gone through for all these 7 day session, it's the time to announce the prizes. So all well done, my dear friends, that all of you have done really, really excellently well in the events that we have put forth for you. And here is the time that we announce prizes. And Jairam sir, I would request you to announce the prizes, the winning entries, and award them with the prizes.
Thank you, madam. It's my pleasure to announce. It's been a very tough job for us to judge which is first, which is second, like that. But unfortunately, we have to do our job. Like I told you, there is a line on how to make it big or small. It's by comparison. So similarly, the things that you have done, very creative work on various grounds we have analyzed, and we have come. And it is not a like maths 2 plus 2 won't always make 4. In fact, is Jaisim's are scored. It can become 6, 8, even 200. 2 plus 2 will become 200. That's a favorite quote by Professor Jaisim sir. So like that it is. Anyway, as per our judgment, with the limitations, what we can see, read, what the creative minds have done, we have come to certain conclusions, and we are going to announce. I'm sure all of you are eagerly awaiting it. And it's like this. The first one is creative story writing, and the winner is Shreya CS. She wins the first prize. Okay, very happy. You can't give a clap. Can you give a clap? Big clap. Yeah, that's very nice. Now, second prize goes to Kirtana. And third prize goes to Kritika. And the fourth is Lata Raj and Chirag. You can see it on the slides also. So it was very interesting. The stories, how you imagine, how you did. It was all very nice. Now we go to the second day, third day prize. That is your imaginative sketching. And the first prize goes to Sandesh, and second goes to Dhyaneshwar Kadam. They're done really well. And third prize to Dhanushri, fourth to Hiranmay, and fifth to Soumya. So congratulations, all of you. Now, fourth day, first is Dhanushri, second is Chetana Kiran. So congratulations, both of you. Even the others have given a good competition, but we had to judge, therefore we have made it like this. And third prize to Sadhvi, fourth to Aditya Esra, and the fifth to Pooja K. Okay, congratulations, all of you. And fifth day, it's Aditya Esra. Then second prize is Suhana. So congratulations, both of you. And the third prize is Hiranmay. Fourth is Sadhvi. Fifth is Supreet. So congratulations. Some of you are winning multiple prizes, so we have to congratulate you multiple times. Okay. And 6 days, it was the geometric and spatial awareness one. First prize goes to Kritika U. Second goes to Ranjita S. Congratulations, both of you. And third prize goes to Supreet Nakare. And fourth to Pooja, and fifth to Sudarshan. So congratulations, all of you. You all done really well. It was really tough for us to judge, but we do have certain criteria, which will also you will know as you start learning more about architecture. As the Professor Jasim rightly said, it's a subject which nobody can say I know, but I do. There is a famous book written by Professor Jaisim. Okay, so even if we don't know, we have to do what we know of. I mean, from what knowledge we acquire, we can do. And the professor has done a lot of things, and he has recorded it in his famous book. And when you get the opportunity, please go through it. You learn a lot of it. And the title is I Do. And professor has done a lot of things, and we can't stop praising professor. He's like a leading beacon for all of us. So it was a very good beginning for all of you who have had such great architects like Jagadish sir and Jasim sir to be wishing you, guiding you, telling you something about architecture. So I thank management for giving me this opportunity to announce the prizes. I wish you all the best in your future career. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
all. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to the winners.
Wonderful.
Okay, sir. Congratulations to the winners. Our team will be in touch with the winners regarding the hard copy certificate collection. It is fair to conclude that the 17 Nata awareness and booster program was a great success. A whole lot of people have contributed in so many ways to turn this event into a smoothly running event with many very interesting presentations, posters, and a good forum for interaction. I owe much gratitude to Aditya Group of Institutions for supporting the event in many direct and indirect ways. I would like to thank a couple of people without whom this event was not possible. Firstly, I would like to thank our Principal Director, Dr. K.N. Ganesh Babu for the inception of this idea, and our faculty members Architect Jairam, Architect Sarojini, Architect Arunachal, Architect Harshita, Architect Siddharth, Architect Kishan, artist Jagadish to have crystallized the whole knot of papers in the power packed presentation. We would like to thank Mr. Nandish Kumar, Chief Admin Officer, Mr. Ramakrishna, Admission Coordinator, and Mr. Mohammed Aziz, Ms. Sharnama, and Ms. Vidya for their active coordination with all the students. And I thank all the students for their generosity and interest in making this event a great success. You, as participants, are thanked for your presence and for the fruitful interaction and outcome. Last but not the least, we want to take a moment to thank all the dedicated essential workers that are keeping our community safe and functioning during this crisis period. We see you, we appreciate you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you, take care, stay safe, and I request everyone to stand up for the national anthem.
I request everyone to please switch on your videos. So since it will be a last week to all of us, please do switch on your videos, students and faculty members and everybody present here. Thank you.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all. It was a nice session with everybody. We would like to conclude it now. Thanks once again.